The courtroom was packed, not with strangers, but with everyone who had ever watched me grow up and secretly waited for me to fail. My parents sat in the front row, calm and confident, dressed like grieving saints. Beside them was a high-priced lawyer they had hired to destroy me. Not quietly, not privately, but publicly. I stood alone at the defendant's table, palms sweating, heart pounding, while whispers crawled through the room like insects. She sued her own daughter? No, her parents did. The judge adjusted his glasses as my mother dabbed her eyes with a tissue, playing her role perfectly. My father stared straight ahead, jaw tight, like this was all just business. And in a way, it was. They weren't here for justice. They were here to bankrupt me in front of everyone. The lawsuit claimed I had illegally taken family assets, that I had betrayed their trust, and that I owed them everything I'd built, my company, my savings, even my home. Their lawyer stood up confidently. Your Honor, he said, voice smooth and sharp, this woman was handed every opportunity. Instead of gratitude, she repaid her parents with theft. Gasps filled the room. I wanted to scream. Instead, I stayed silent, because no one here knew the truth. And no one knew that I'd built my business from a folding table in my garage. That I worked 2 jobs while my parents told people I was confused and wasting my life. That the only time they showed interest in me was when my success made headlines. Now they wanted it all. My mother turned to the crowd, voice trembling. We tried to settle this privately. But she left us no choice. That lie stung more than anything. The judge looked at me. Ms. Carter, do you understand the claims against you? Yes, Your Honor, I said quietly. My parents smiled, just slightly. They thought this was over. They thought the law was on their side. They thought money always wins. What they didn't know was that I had been preparing for this moment for 3 years. And that this courtroom wasn't where my life ended. It was where their story unraveled. The trial moved fast. Too fast. My parents' lawyer flooded the court with documents, bank statements, contracts, family agreements I barely remembered signing when I was younger. Evidence, he said confidently. Every page felt like another nail in my coffin. The crowd watched me like I was already guilty. Then the judge leaned back in his chair. Miss Carter, he said, before I rule, I have one question. The room went silent. He turned toward my parents. When exactly did you first claim ownership of your daughter's company? My father answered quickly, 2 years ago, when it became profitable. The judge raised an eyebrow. And before that? My mother hesitated. We supported her dreams emotionally. That's when I stood up. Your Honor, I said, voice steady now. May I submit additional evidence? My parents froze. Their lawyer frowned. We were not informed of. I know, the judge said. But I'll allow it. I handed my attorney a flash drive. What played next changed everything. Emails, voicemails, text messages. My parents mocking my failures, telling relatives not to help me, refusing to co-sign loans, threatening to disown me if I didn't give them control once I succeeded. Then came the final blow. A recorded phone call. My father's voice echoed through the courtroom. Once she's rich enough, we sue. The law will force her to hand it over. Gasps turned into shock. My mother started crying. For real this time. The judge's voice was ice cold. So, he said slowly, you didn't invest. You didn't support. And you waited until success to attack. My parents' lawyer sat down. He had nothing left. The judge turned to me. And Miss Carter, why didn't you settle? I met his eyes. Because I didn't just want to survive this, I said. I wanted the truth on record. The ruling came down like thunder. The judge dismissed the case entirely, then ordered my parents to pay all legal fees, plus damages for emotional distress and malicious intent. But the real punishment wasn't financial. It was public. The same people who had watched me in shame now watched my parents leave the courtroom in silence, exposed. No speeches, no apologies, just consequences. Outside, reporters rushed toward me. How does it feel to win against your own parents? One asked, I paused, I didn't win against my parents, I said calmly, I won for myself. I walked away without looking back. Months later, my company expanded nationwide, hired people who believed in me when no one else did. As for my parents, they tried to reconnect, letters, calls, excuses. I forgave them, quietly, but forgiveness didn't mean access. Some doors close forever, and that's okay, because family isn't who shares your blood, who doesn't try to destroy you when you finally rise. And the day the judge asked that one question was the day I stopped being their daughter and became my own person.